Inflammation. It's a word you've probably heard 1,000 times. It's what happens when you twist your ankle, when you get a cut, when your immune system rushes in to protect you. In that context, it's a good thing, a healing process. But what if I told you that inflammation has quietly escaped its original purpose? That in millions of people around the world, it's no longer healing, it's silently harming. And what's worse, very few people are talking about the real reason it's happening. We've been told inflammation is just a part of aging or stress or genetics. But that's not the full story. The truth is, our environment, our food system, our habits, they're creating a perfect storm inside our bodies. Our diets are flooded with ultra-processed foods that hijack our metabolism, spike our insulin, and trigger low-grade inflammation every single day. Every sip of a sugary drink, every bite of refined oil, every heavily processed snack, it's all feeding a silent fire. A fire that burns not on your skin, but in your cells. When inflammation becomes chronic, it becomes the hidden driver of almost every major disease we fear: heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, obesity, even cancer. It's like a switch that never turns off. You may not feel it, but it's there, smoldering quietly under the surface. And here's the part they're not telling you. It's not inevitable. This isn't destiny written in your DNA. Chronic inflammation is something we can control, if we know where to look. See, the food industry doesn't want you to know that your kitchen has more healing power than most medicine cabinets. Because if you knew, you'd stop buying what they sell. You'd stop feeding your body with the ingredients that fuel disease. You'd start feeding it with the nutrients that extinguish inflammation at its root. There are foods, real, natural, vibrant foods, that tell your body to calm down, to heal, to rebuild. Foods that activate your body's defense systems rather than overwhelm them. Think of colorful fruits and vegetables bursting with polyphenols. Think of omega-3 rich fish that cool inflammation like water on fire. Think of green tea, turmeric, garlic, mushrooms, each one containing molecules that whisper to your immune system, "You're safe." You can stop fighting now, but we've been conditioned to reach for the quick fix. A pill for the pain, a powder for energy, a drink for relaxation. And yet, every shortcut comes with a price. The problem is, you can't medicate your way out of what your lifestyle is causing. You can't fight fire with fire. A true healing happens when you stop adding fuel to the flames. When you start eating foods that your body recognizes as real, your blood vessels relax. Your gut microbiome comes back into balance. Your brain fog clears, your energy returns. This isn't magic, it's biology working the way it was meant to. Inflammation is your body's cry for help. It's saying, "I'm under attack." And the attack is coming not from outside, but from the inside. From what we consume, what we breathe, what we think, and how we live. The tragedy is that this truth has been buried under marketing slogans, under layers of misinformation, because it's not profitable to teach people that health begins on their plate. It's not profitable to show you that anti-inflammatory power lies in the colors of your produce, in the quality of your fats, in the balance of your meals. It's far easier to sell you a symptom reliever than to teach you how to prevent the disease in the first place. But make no mistake, your body is not broken. It's waiting for the moment you stop feeding inflammation and start feeding healing. Waiting for the moment you choose foods that signal safety instead of stress. Waiting for you to remember that nature has always been your first line of defense. The science is clear. The path is simple. The choice is yours. Inflammation is not the enemy we once thought it was. It is, in fact, one of the body's most powerful protective tools. It's the mechanism through which we heal after injury or infection. The redness, the swelling, the warmth, those are signs that your immune system has detected danger and is responding to protect you. In its natural state, inflammation is short-lived. It rises when needed and fades when the threat is gone. But something has gone terribly wrong. The inflammation we see today in our world is not temporary. It doesn't fade. It lingers and it grows stronger over time. It's been unchanged from its original purpose, and now it's attacking the very body it was designed to protect. What's happening right now across the world is that inflammation is skyrocketing at a pace we've never seen before. People of all ages are being diagnosed with chronic inflammatory conditions: heart disease, autoimmune disorders, arthritis, obesity, even cancer. And yet, the underlying cause remains buried beneath marketing campaigns, industrial food systems, and profit-driven healthcare. We've been told to look everywhere except where the real answer lies. The truth is, chronic inflammation doesn't just happen by accident. It's not something your body does out of nowhere. It's the direct result of what we've been exposed to, what we've been told to eat, what we've been encouraged to buy, and how we've been taught to live. For decades, we were led to believe that health is about calories, carbs, or fat grams. But the conversation was never about inflammation, because that's where the real power lies. Food companies don't want you thinking about inflammation. If you did, you might stop eating the products they've engineered to be addictive. You might stop consuming the processed oils, the refined sugars, and the chemical additives that hijack your biology and trigger a continuous immune response. You might start demanding real food grown in real soil, made by nature instead of machines. Here's what they're keeping from you. The modern diet has rewired our immune systems. The refined carbohydrates and omega-6 heavy oils, corn, soybean, sunflower, create a biochemical imbalance inside the body. They flood our cells with pro-inflammatory molecules, overwhelming the systems that keep us in balance. Add to that the artificial sweeteners, preservatives, and chemical flavor enhancers that our ancestors never encountered, and you have an immune system that's constantly confused. It no longer knows what's safe and what's dangerous, so it attacks everything, including you. This invisible war doesn't always show up as pain or swelling. Sometimes it looks like fatigue that won't go away. Sometimes it looks like anxiety, brain fog, or the stubborn weight that refuses to move no matter how hard you try. Sometimes it's that dull ache in your joints, the puffiness in your face, or the skin condition you keep trying to treat from the outside. Chronic inflammation hides in plain sight. It's slow, silent, and systemic. It creeps into your blood vessels, your gut lining, your brain cells, and your connective tissue. It's not dramatic like an injury. It's quiet and persistent. And that's what makes it so dangerous. The food industry has mastered the art of keeping this truth out of sight. They'll market low-fat, sugar-free, and high-protein products that seem healthy on the label, but are actually inflammatory cocktails in disguise. They'll distract you with buzzwords like energy, natural, and fortified, while leaving out the part about how those same ingredients disrupt your microbiome and ignite inflammation deep within your tissues. They've even managed to convince us that inflammation-related diseases are just a normal part of aging, as if decline is inevitable once you reach a certain number. But aging is not the problem. Accelerated inflammation is. Inside your body, there's an extraordinary network designed to keep you in balance. Your immune cells, your gut bacteria, your blood vessels, your hormones, they all communicate constantly. They're designed to maintain harmony. But every time you consume something ultra-processed, every time you're exposed to polluted air, every time you lose sleep, experience chronic stress, or live disconnected from nature, you send a different message to your body, a message of alarm. Over time, that alarm system gets stuck in the on position. Now imagine living years, even decades, in that state of constant alarm. Your immune cells never get to rest. They become desensitized, erratic, and destructive. They start attacking healthy tissue, damaging blood vessels, disrupting insulin signaling, and interfering with brain function. That's how chronic inflammation becomes the foundation for nearly every major chronic disease. It's not one condition, it's the soil from which many conditions grow. And here's the beautiful irony your body is constantly trying to heal. Every single day, even when inflammation is raging, your body is searching for balance. It's producing anti-inflammatory molecules, regenerating new cells, and repairing damaged tissue. It just needs help. The foods you eat, the lifestyle choices you make, the environment you create. All of these either support that healing or sabotage it. The power is not in some external cure, it's already within you. Let's talk about what the science reveals, but the mainstream rarely emphasizes. Certain foods don't just reduce inflammation. They literally reprogram your biology to resist it. Green tea, for example, contains catechins that neutralize inflammatory free radicals before they can damage your cells. Berries are loaded with anthocyanins that improve blood vessel health and calm overactive immune cells. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and kale activate detox pathways that clear out inflammatory byproducts from your body. A fatty fish like salmon and sardines supply omega-3 fatty acids that compete with omega-6 and restore the balance your body needs to produce anti-inflammatory signals. Even something as simple as olive oil, real extra virgin olive oil, contains compounds that mimic the effects of anti-inflammatory medications, but without side effects. Garlic, onions, ginger, turmeric. These aren't just ingredients, they're molecular messages that tell your body, you're safe, heal now. But the message of healing isn't only found in food. It's also found in how we live. Chronic stress is one of the most powerful triggers of inflammation. When your brain perceives constant danger, financial stress, emotional pain, social pressure, it keeps releasing cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, those hormones stop helping and start harming. They make your immune system hyperactive. They make your gut more permeable, allowing toxins to leak into your bloodstream. They impair your ability to sleep, and without sleep, your body cannot repair. So the cycle continues: stress, inflammation, fatigue, and more stress. The antidote begins not just with what you eat, but how you live. Deep breathing, meditation, time in nature, meaningful human connection. These aren't luxuries, they're biological necessities. When you slow down and let your body feel safe, inflammation begins to subside. Your immune cells stop attacking. Your blood pressure stabilizes. Your digestive system resets. Your brain starts to release healing signals instead of stress hormones. A healing is not only biochemical, it's emotional, it's environmental, it's holistic. Yet the systems around us are designed to keep us inflamed. Fast food is cheaper than real food. Technology keeps us glued to screens, disrupting our circadian rhythms and depriving us of restorative sleep. Our cities are built for convenience, not movement. We sit more than we stand, we scroll more than we connect, and we medicate more than we nourish. All of this adds up to a world where inflammation thrives. But the body is resilient beyond measure. The same way it can be trained to inflame, it can be retrained to heal. Within days of changing your diet, your blood markers of inflammation begin to drop. Within weeks, your gut microbiome starts to shift toward balance. Within months, your risk of chronic disease can decline dramatically. Every choice counts. Every meal is an opportunity to communicate with your biology, to either feed the fire or feed the healing. The science of angiogenesis, metabolism, and immunity all converge here. Your body isn't a collection of separate parts, it's a connected ecosystem. What affects one system affects them all. When inflammation goes up, blood vessel function declines. When your gut microbiome is disrupted, your brain chemistry changes. When you eat nutrient-rich, anti-inflammatory foods, your body responds with harmony across all these systems. This is the new biology of health, the understanding that healing isn't about one organ, one pill, or one diet. It's about restoring communication between all the systems that make you whole. What we must begin to understand is that chronic inflammation is not a disease in itself. It's a signal, a message that your body is out of balance. The solution isn't found in silencing that signal with medication, but in listening to it and addressing what's causing it. The good news is, once you start making the right choices, your body listens back. It rewards you with clarity, energy, strength, and resilience. When you eat foods close to nature, your immune system recognizes them instantly. It knows what to do with a blueberry, a tomato, a handful of walnuts. But when you consume a product engineered in a lab with ingredients your ancestors never encountered, your immune system doesn't know what it's dealing with. It reacts defensively. That's inflammation. And the more foreign substances we introduce, the more defensive the body becomes. Over time, this constant defense turns into a full-scale attack on our own cells. This is the silent epidemic of our time. It doesn't make headlines the way infectious diseases do because it moves slowly. It doesn't spread from person to person. It spreads through habits, through culture, through systems that prioritize convenience over health. But its impact is far greater. Chronic inflammation erodes not just physical health, but emotional well-being. It robs people of vitality, joy, and purpose long before disease ever shows up in a medical test. And yet, beneath all this, there's hope, because the same mechanisms that create inflammation are reversible. Your blood vessels can regenerate. Your immune system can recalibrate. Your gut can heal. Your brain can grow new connections. You have the power to direct this process with every decision you make. No corporation, no advertisement, no trend can override your body's natural intelligence when you begin to work with it instead of against it. They don't want you to know that your body is capable of extraordinary regeneration. They don't want you to believe that the food's growing from the ground. The rhythms of sleep, the power of movement, and the peace of mind could rival what's sold in pharmacies. Because if you knew, you'd realize the most advanced healing technology in the world already lives inside you. It's not in the next supplement, not in the next drug. It's in your choices, your mindset, your biology. So when you hear the word inflammation, don't think of it as just a medical term. Think of it as your body's internal language. It's how your body speaks to you. When it's inflamed, it's saying, something's not right. Please listen. And when you start giving it what it truly needs, real food, deep rest, genuine joy, it responds with gratitude, with strength, with vitality. Inflammation may be skyrocketing around the world, but so can awareness. So can empowerment. So can healing. The truth they've kept hidden is that you don't need to be a victim of your biology. You can be the author of it. You can rewrite the story of your health by simply remembering how to live in alignment with the design of your body. You can calm the chaos within by returning to what's real. Real food, real rest, real connection, real life. And when you do, something remarkable happens. The fire that once burned out of control becomes a source of light. The same immune system that once attacked you becomes your greatest defender. The same body that once struggled begins to thrive. Because healing isn't something that happens to you. It's something that happens through you. The truth they've been keeping from you isn't complicated. It isn't hidden in a lab, and it doesn't require permission. The truth is simple. Your body already knows how to heal. All you have to do is let it. When you begin to understand inflammation at its core, you start to see how deeply connected every system of the body truly is. The human body is not a collection of isolated organs working separately. It is a symphony of biological intelligence. When one part becomes unbalanced, the entire orchestra begins to lose rhythm. Inflammation is the conductor gone rogue, turning harmony into chaos. And this chaos is not random. It is the result of decades of changes in how we eat, how we move, how we rest, and how we think. Everywhere you look, you see signs of a world that has normalized inflammation. Fast food chains on every corner, packaged snacks lined with chemicals, a culture that glorifies productivity over rest, and stress that never ends. Our bodies were designed to adapt to challenge, but not to this kind of relentless assault. The immune system that once defended us from infection is now forced to respond to an environment it was never built for. And because this imbalance happens gradually, we rarely notice it until it's too late. Imagine this inside your body. Millions of immune cells are patrolling every second. They're intelligent, adaptable, and precise. Their job is to identify threats, bacteria, viruses, damaged cells, and neutralize them. But in a world where we constantly expose ourselves to inflammatory triggers, those immune cells are bombarded with false alarms. Refined sugars, artificial additives, trans fats, pesticides, and environmental toxins all mimic danger signals. Your immune system responds as if under attack, day after day, year after year. That is what chronic inflammation looks like. A body constantly at war with itself. And what's truly remarkable is how the smallest habits feed this fire. Take sleep, for example. Just one night of poor sleep increases inflammatory markers in the blood. Chronic sleep deprivation doesn't just make you tired. It alters your immune function, raises cortisol, and disrupts your metabolism. The same goes for stress. When you live in a state of constant tension, your body releases inflammatory chemicals as if preparing to fight or flee. But the danger never comes, and your system never resets. You might be sitting at a desk, scrolling on a screen, yet your body thinks it's in battle. But then there's food, the most powerful weapon we wield every single day, for better or worse. Think about what happens when you eat a meal loaded with fine sugar. Your blood sugar spikes, insulin floods your system, and within hours, inflammatory cytokines surge in your bloodstream. Your body perceives that sugar spike as a form of stress. Over time, the more frequently you eat this way, the more resistant your cells become to insulin, and the more inflammation spreads. It's a cycle, one that quietly erodes health from the inside out. What's rarely talked about is that inflammation doesn't only affect the body. It reshapes the brain. Chronic inflammation changes how neurons communicate. It dulls the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, leading to symptoms that look like depression, anxiety, or cognitive fog. The gut, which houses nearly 70% of your immune system, sends distress signals to the brain when it's inflamed. This is why people struggling with digestive issues often experience mood swings, irritability, or fatigue. The gut-brain connection is real, and inflammation is the bridge that links them. In a healthy world, your gut bacteria produce compounds that calm inflammation. They help regulate your immune system and even influence your hormones. But when those bacteria are damaged by antibiotics, processed foods, or artificial sweeteners, the balance shifts. Harmful bacteria flourish, creating more inflammation, which then spreads throughout the body. It's a domino effect that can influence everything from your skin to your sleep to your immune resilience. And yet, inside that same gut lies one of the greatest healing powers known to science. Every time you eat fiber-rich foods, vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, you feed the good bacteria. Those bacteria, in turn, produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which reduce inflammation, strengthen your gut barrier, and support brain function. When you choose real food, you're not just feeding yourself, you're feeding the ecosystem that protects you. This is where modern culture has it all backward. We treat symptoms as if they exist in isolation. We look at heart disease, obesity, diabetes, depression, and autoimmune conditions as separate issues when, in reality, they share a common root: chronic inflammation. It's like treating the smoke without putting out the fire. And that fire, in most cases, begins with how we live. The good news is that the body is constantly trying to put the fire out. The moment you start removing triggers, the moment you start introducing healing foods and habits, your body begins to shift. The inflammation markers in your blood start to drop. Your arteries become more flexible. Your cells regain sensitivity to insulin. Your brain starts producing more feel-good chemicals. You don't need years to see changes. Sometimes it's a matter of days. Let's talk about one of the most powerful tools we have: plants. Not supplements, not extracts, whole plants. Every fruit and vegetable is like a code of information written by nature. Each color carries a different message. The red in tomatoes and watermelon comes from lycopene, which reduces oxidative stress and protects your heart. The purple in blueberries and eggplant comes from anthocyanins, which improve memory and protect your brain. The green in spinach and kale comes from chlorophyll and sulforaphane, which detoxify and calm inflammation. Nature built an entire pharmacy into the colors of our food. But the system wants you disconnected from that truth. They want you reaching for packaged solutions, quick fixes that create dependency, not healing. They'll advertise processed health, foods fortified with synthetic vitamins, while the real nutrients you need are sitting in the produce azel. They'll tell you to drink an energy drink instead of getting rest, to take a pill instead of changing your diet, to buy more instead of slowing down. Because there's profit in sickness, but balance doesn't sell. Here's the reality: the human body is a masterpiece of self-repair. It constantly replaces its cells. Your liver regenerates, your gut lining renews itself every few days. Your skin, your blood, your immune system. They're all in constant motion, adapting, responding, rebuilding. But this process depends on one thing: the absence of interference. When inflammation runs high, that regeneration slows down. The body is too busy fighting to rebuild. When you remove what's triggering the fight, healing happens naturally. You can see this transformation in real life. Someone switches from a diet heavy in processed foods to one rich in whole plant-based meals, and within weeks their energy rises, their skin clears, their mind sharpens, their biomarkers, cholesterol, blood pressure, inflammation markers, all begin to normalize. These are not miracles. These are biological laws being restored. And this restoration goes beyond physical health. When inflammation decreases, emotional resilience increases. You feel calmer, you think clearer, you connect more deeply with others. It's because your body is no longer trapped in survival mode. Chronic inflammation keeps you stuck in fight or flight. Healing inflammation brings you back to rest and digest, the place where creativity, love, and purpose live. There's something profoundly spiritual about this process too. The same intelligence that designed a seed to grow into a tree exists within you. Your body knows how to heal, just like the earth knows how to regenerate after a fire. But that process can only unfold if you stop adding fuel to the flames. Healing doesn't come from force, it comes from alignment, with nature, with rhythm, with truth. When you begin to eat in harmony with that truth, when your plate becomes a reflection of the earth's wisdom, you start to feel different. Your body feels lighter, your mind clearer, your energy more stable. You begin to realize that food is not just fuel, it's information. Every bite you take is a message to your DNA, to your immune system, to your future. And that message can say one of two things: inflame or heal. This isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. The goal isn't to eliminate every indulgence or live in constant restriction. It's about reconnecting with what's real. Choosing olive oil instead of seed oil, whole grains instead of refined flour, water instead of soda, fresh fruit instead of candy. Cooking your meals instead of outsourcing them to factories, moving your body instead of sitting all day, resting when you're tired instead of pushing past exhaustion. These are small acts, but they are revolutionary in a world that profits from your imbalance. And then there's community. Inflammation doesn't only come from what you eat or drink, it comes from loneliness, isolation, disconnection. The human nervous system thrives on connection. When you laugh with someone, hug someone, share a meal, or feel understood, your body releases oxytocin and serotonin, hormones that naturally lower inflammation. You heal faster in the presence of others. Your immune system literally becomes stronger when you feel loved. The truth is, the most powerful anti-inflammatory therapies are simple, ancient, and free: sunlight on your skin, movement in your body, love in your heart, stillness in your mind, and real food on your plate. Yet we've been conditioned to look for healing in complexity. We've forgotten that the body's default state is health, not disease. You don't need to add more to become healthy. You need to remove what's interfering with what's already there. Inflammation may be skyrocketing, but that means awareness must rise even higher. Once you understand what's happening inside you, you begin to see through the noise. You start to realize that every ad, every label, every convenience comes with a cost. But you also begin to see that every act of nourishment, every mindful choice, every deep breath is an investment in your healing. Your body doesn't need you to fight it. It needs you to listen. It doesn't need punishment. It needs partnership. It doesn't need control. It needs care. And the moment you decide to honor it, the same biology that once created disease becomes the engine of your transformation. You stop being a victim of inflammation and start becoming a vessel of healing. This is what they don't tell you. This is what gets lost between headlines and hashtags. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you feel it, you can't forget it. The world may be inflamed, but inside you lies the blueprint for calm, balance, and renewal. The truth is not out there. It's within you, waiting to be remembered. So if there's one truth to carry with you, let it be this: inflammation is not your destiny. It's your body's message. It's not punishment. It's a signal. A plea from within, asking you to realign with what's real, to return to what nourishes, protects, and sustains life. You are not broken. You are being called back to balance. The system may have forgotten the power of natural healing, but your body never did. It remembers every rhythm, every nutrient, every breath that brings it peace. And the moment you choose to honor that memory, by eating with intention, resting without guilt, moving with purpose, and loving without fear, you begin to silence the chaos that has kept you inflamed. This is your turning point. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Because every meal, every breath, every thought is either feeding the fire or fueling your healing. And when you choose healing, you're not just changing your health, you're reclaiming your power. You're proving that truth still matters, that nature still wins, and that no system can keep hidden what your body already knows. You were designed to heal, to thrive, and to rise above the inflammation of this world.